Alright, good evening. We're going 3 for 3 tonight, and while I have time, I want to talk about the best baits of my season. There is some of the season left, don't get me wrong, but with the time that I have left, I have a hard time believing that something's just going to come out of nowhere and crush like, whatever, 5 to 15 fish. But who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, if I am, that would be awesome. But this has kind of been the program this year so far. It's been kind of a strange year. It's been a lot of boom and bust cycles. Like, there's been a lot of really good days this spring, and then there's some days that are really tough. And then there are some really good days in the summer, and a lot of days that were really tough. And kind of the same trend in the fall, which, you know, that's just kind of musky fishing. But just the consistency in a day-to-day, especially in my time in northern Wisconsin, was just not there. Probably the most consistent bite that we had the entire season was while I was in Canada, which was awesome. The fish were going, we were able to find some, and we were pretty successful. It was a lot of fun. But I'm going to kind of run down all of the different baits and where I used them, how I used them, when I used them, and just kind of go from there. But let's just kind of dive right in, pun intended. The 8-inch Navin, however you want to say it, did its thing again this spring. It just is such a consistent, super effective bait. And it just, one of my students had a really good shot at a fish on one of these, at a really nice fish actually on one of these. BZ got a nice fish on one. Ben was catching nice fish on these. They're just such a consistent producer. They do all the work for you. As long as you pair them with a decent leader, these things just get the job done. Just straight up, they just get the job done. So that's definitely a top bait for 2024. All right, moving on. Topwater. I'm not a big topwater guy. I did catch my first topwater fish in like 4 years on topwater this year in Canada, and that was on the Little Sister. But that is not the reason that I'm showing it. Whether it was people I was fishing with or clients that I had in my boat, the Little Sister just produced action. It's almost like when I told Connor to chuck one of these in Canada and he actually listened to me, I felt like I knew what I was doing, because then subsequently he caught like 4 fish in a row on them, just one after another. It was ridiculous. We caught like 5 fish in 25 minutes or something stupid like that. I'm gonna have to review the footage, but like there were times where it was like release a fish, cast, catch, release a fish, cast, catch, and it was just, that window was just bananas. There were so many fish stacked in that spot. It was really silly, but I'll get into more of that later. Just that was a lot of fun. Canada was awesome. But before I get too much into the summer, I want to make sure I cover my bases in the spring. And when it was springtime, that time was ruled by none other than Rusty's sick sucker. Whether it was Brian throwing it or Ben throwing it, I really had no reason to throw it between them. This is the 8-inch. The 6-inch was the one that was doing most of the damage. This is just the one that I had on hand for tonight. But Rusty's lures just straight up catch fish. I don't know what kind of mojo he puts in these things, but they just routinely, they're just so consistent. They get the job done. They're super easy to work. You know, they move, honestly, some of the biggest fish in the system for all the more that this is, which is astounding for a glide, because and they eat them. They eat them. Like, a lot of times fish get stuck and tranced by the glide action, and it's not the case with Rusty's lures. They come up and crank them, which is awesome, because that's what you want. I'm not going to say the phrase because I'll probably get demonetized, but if you know the phrase that I'm talking about, yeah, then yeah. Anyway, it deals with following and something else. Anyway, I digress. Moving on to other lures. In the spring, the Topline Twitches were really, really good. They just suspend, they do special things. This is the flatter sided twitch. The rounder twitch is the one that I did better with this spring. Not that this one is bad, that's not what I'm saying at all. This one is really awesome too. The round one is just in my box still because now it just doesn't leave my box. So anyway, that one did really awesome in the spring. It's got a lot of hang to it. I released a video recently kind of detailing some of that, and hopefully at some point I'll get to editing the ones with Brian and Ben where I also did really well on that with them. When you're fishing between two really good anglers, you gotta figure it out because like they did not leave a lot for me to mess with in their time down here, which is good. That's the idea. They came to catch fish. I'm just here to facilitate and provide a roof over my bros' heads. That being said, where do I want to go with this next? As we're kind of transitioning through the year, again, two of the biggest staples in northern Wisconsin, the Dipstick XL, as we're just talking about, Adams baits and Topline lures. This thing is awesome. I did not get a chance to throw this one as much in the areas that I really wanted to chuck it in, but it will definitely find some time to get run in my boat. There's no doubt about that. That one is just, it's literally a work of art. I have a hard time chucking it around. I know it's meant to be chucked, but my goodness, that thing is so cool. Also, the other killer in the Northwoods, this the Dipstick XL, again, once again, 2 years in a row, biggest Northwoods fish for me. It's not an accident, it's not a mistake. Those things move the biggest fish in the system routinely, there's no doubt about it. I just wish that I had more opportunities to throw those down here. I get kind of nervous on some of my bodies of water chucking them in the fall and stuff because there's just so many trees and snags and stuff, and they get so deep, which is one of the biggest reasons I love throwing them in northern Wisconsin, is because they'll like get down to like, you know, 8 to 10 foot and they just hang there. But that's a huge issue if you run into the wrong tree here in the home state. So, you know, if I threw them around Shad School some last year on some of the lakes that I fish, so if that happens again, I'll definitely be checking it then. But otherwise, I definitely don't. I'm very careful with where I throw those lures down here because you just never know when you're going to find something that doesn't want to give your lure back. In the same vein of the Northwoods, the BOF Fin Jr. by Brady Martz, Bam Bam Customs, Bam Bam Bait Co. These things absolutely cranked on the fish in the Northwoods. When nothing else would get those fish to go, if you would just dance these things over the weeds, it would happen. I don't know. I can't explain it. They just got the job done up there. I felt really validated actually because I saw the action of these and I was like, those things are going to work really well in northern Wisconsin in some of that clear water I fish, and ta-da, they definitely did. Just really cool. Thank you, Brady. Those things are awesome. This will come as no shock or surprise to anyone, but this is a MidDooa. The Doosas have done just incredibly well once again this year, both the mini and the mid models. This happens to be a well-chewed, well-worn-in moose horn measles. Show color from last year. May or may not be Vince's favorite Doosa color. I don't know if I was supposed to say that, but it's definitely one of my favorite colors. They just get the job done. This thing looks like hamburger at this point. It's got just a ridiculous cut in it. I don't know, this one was floating in my box. I don't know if it's dead now or what. Harness looks okay. Maybe it just found its way to the bottom. I don't know. But the MidDooa, the mini Doosa, those things are just such staples in my boat. I know the regs work. I should throw them more than I do, but with the confidence that I have in the mids, I have a hard time justifying it, to be honest with you. Next on the list, let's go to blades. This is going to be kind of a shock to some of you. You're going to be like, holy cow, Matt is featuring a spinnerbait, and it's going to be like in his top baits video. I feature a lot of spinner baits in my videos, but it's not something that I lean so heavily on until this year. So spent some time in Canada. Thatcher was kind enough to let me hang out with him, crash with him for a couple of days. The Growler, just an incredible spinner bait, just gets the job done. Thatcher knows what he's doing. If you don't have one, like my buddy KV says, it's probably one of the best value baits out there. There are very few baits under $20 that have just the fish catching ability, the drawing power, and like the big fish mojo that a Growler does. Very few baits under $20. I would say maybe a MidDooa, Slammer. You know, I don't know if it's the 7-inch that's under 20 bucks. I'd have to double check. But there are not a lot of lures in that category. So anyway, my point being, Growler did awesome. I got my PB pike on it in Canada. I don't know if I will ever break that 42 by just ridiculously fat beast of a northern pike. That was really cool. And caught some muskies with the Growlers too. Growler Proto as well as a standard Growler. These things have just gotten the job done this year. And on Lake of the Woods, when nothing else was going, Thatcher was able to get one to go on his own bait. So that was super cool. Last and certainly not least, more blades. This is KV's Baby Bad Egg via Dadson blade baits. This thing is just awesome. This is actually Callie's. I know I've featured it before. It's because it's so cool. I think KV calls this his Northern Light series. I don't know why they can't. There we go. There we go. Now we're focused. Now we're getting it done. Okay, so this thing is just awesome. They move a ton of water. They have an insane amount of grind to them. They did so well for me in Canada. I caught fish on them on 2 different lakes in Canada. You know, I should have probably had more fish on them than I did up there. Again, I lost one, and there's just some weird stuff that, you know, sometimes in the 8 they just don't really want to play. But what do you do? But KV makes an awesome bucktail. The Dadsons make awesome bucktails. I feel really fortunate to throw those. Yeah, KV crushed on his own bucktail the one day that he fished with me in northern Wisconsin, so that was really cool. Yeah, just really awesome bucktails. All these bait makers are just awesome dudes, awesome people. All these people I greatly appreciate and cannot thank them enough. That being said, last but certainly not least, well, I said that already. The honorable mention, if you will, I don't know what you want to call it. I can't do one of these videos without featuring a Ridgway Custom because, like, this year these fish have just been swerving me so hard. This is the swirly tail one that he just came out with. It's awesome. These fish have swerved me so hard on the Ridgways. I don't know what it is. I've lost fish. I've had more swings and misses with them. I don't know what the deal is. It's probably my issue more than anything. I lost like a 38 to 40 inch tiger on one in northern Wisconsin. I lost probably a 40 to 42 inch normal one down here. I lost probably somewhere between a 38 and 48 or 40 inch musky in Canada on one. Like, I've had swings and misses in northern Wisconsin, swings and misses in Iowa. I just can't win with those things. I even had a pike steal one away from a musky in Canada. Like, I can't make it up. It's not because this thing isn't working. It's because I don't know. I'm unlucky, which, if you fish with me, should come as no surprise to any of you. But anyway, I can't in good faith do the video of my best baits without featuring that one, even though I haven't caught very many fish with it this year. I think I've caught just a couple, but you know, it's just been one of those years. Sometimes the dyes come up snake eyes, and what do you really do about that? But anyway, those are the baits that I had the most success with this season. I can't say thanks enough to all the people that put their faith in me and want to work with me. It means the world to me, and I get to justify this obsession a little bit more than I would be able to otherwise. So thank you all for checking it out. If you enjoy the tackle talks, let me know. I appreciate it. There'll be plenty of fish catches videos on the way. There'll be plenty of lives on the way. I've just got to get some of that stuff organized. So with that all being said, appreciate you all watching. Peace.